Now take a look at this. This is a post that says silver support from Lebanon. This stuff has appreciated over 10 times since bought here due to local currency collapse. Lebanon is not the first and will likely not be the last. Keep stacking. Hello YouTubers, Alaska Prepper here. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to try to make some sense of this, of what's going on in Lebanon right now, and how important it is. In my opinion, I'm not a financial advisor, so make up your own minds, ladies and gentlemen, but I'm trying to bring this forward to you so that you can at least think about it and see if it makes some sense to you. How important it is to have a little bit of silver, because I've been wrong. I've said in the past that silver is really not for SHTF situations. And although I think that it is more important so that we can have some wealth to restart once the crisis is over, that would only apply to people that are very well prepared. As you can see, what's been happening in Lebanon here for about the last year or so, they've been going through what I would call a hyperinflation. And for those of you that don't know what a hyperinflation is, it is when your money or the currency by which you trade becomes more and more worthless on a daily basis. Right? So the definition of hyperinflation is when inflation reaches a point of 50% a month continually. However, in Lebanon, their inflation has been a lot worse than that. And I wanted to give you an example, a real life example of how a little bit of silver would have cost some of these people that are going without to be able to afford those things that they need on a daily basis and be able to have somewhat of a normalcy in their lives and their families' lives. Now, for those of you that don't know, in Lebanon, bread is part of their staple diet. They rely on bread on a daily basis, and the average family in Lebanon goes through about 2 pounds of flatbread every day. So they go through, on average, about 60 pounds of flatbread every month. And here, this article that I put up where it says, rising bread prices in Lebanon gobble up 11% of pay. This was just the beginning, ladies and gentlemen. Right? So in Lebanon, around 2019 or so, is when things started going south. It's when things started getting more expensive, and the people were noticing on a daily basis that their money was becoming worth less and less. Now, I use the term money in the place of fiat currency, because in this case, and every case, real money is gold and silver. When used in a monetary term, real money is gold and silver. A fiat currency note is just that, a note, a piece of paper that says, I owe you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, then it is up to you to find out whether someone's going to honor that I owe you or not. But here it states that back in February of 2021, the average, 930 grams of bread, which is roughly 2 pounds. I believe 1 pound is 454 grams. So just a tiny bit over 2 pounds of bread in Lebanon was costing about 2,500 Lebanese pounds. Right? So the average family would be spending about 75,000 Lebanese pounds per month on their bread, that staple that they have on an everyday basis. So this was back in February. Let's go ahead and move it forward to September of this year. Here in September of this year, September 23rd, this article came out that said, how much is bread new price? How much is the bread new price, right? So here it says that your average, now look at this, ladies and gentlemen. Now there's a little bit of shrinkflation here. Now from 900 plus grams of bread, now they've got 850 grams of bread. But now that 850 grams of bread cost about 5,000 pounds, which is twice as much. And from what I understand, since September till today, it's even more expensive. But we're just going to use these numbers. That way we can keep it simple. And you can see how important it would be for someone in Lebanon to have put away, not even that much, just a few ounces of silver. Had they put away a few ounces, they could have been weathering this storm and been able to continue to purchase the staple of what is bread for them throughout this crisis that they're going through today. I want to go ahead and show you what the silver price in Lebanon was back in 2019, early 2019, so that you can see what the price was back then and what the price is today. Now, if you take a look at this, back in 2019, let's bring it to January, roughly 2019, that's good. It's about 23,000 Lebanese pounds for 1 ounce of silver. All right, ladies and gentlemen, 23,000 Lebanese pounds for 1 ounce of silver. And this is what the government reports. It is not what is reported through the black market, meaning that in the black market, you can sell that silver for a lot more than what the government is reporting its value is. But we all know through history and through studying countries that are going through hyperinflation right now, that when a fiat currency fails, the true value of precious metals comes out, not in the official market, because the government does not want to acknowledge that the currency is or has failed. So they keep their fiat currency pegged to the same thing that it was pegged before, for what that commodity is. So here, as you can see, back in January, it was roughly 23,000 Lebanese pounds to buy 1 ounce of silver. So let's say that through January, February, let's just say that they accumulated 10 ounces of silver because they saw that things were going south. Let's say that they had a whole bunch of money in their bank account and they're like, man, things are getting worse. Let me go ahead and turn a little bit of these Lebanese pounds that we have in our bank account, let's go ahead and turn it into silver. That way, if our fiat note keeps being devalued, we can at least have something to fall back on. All right, so if you take it to today, 1 ounce of silver in the Lebanese pound is 35,000 Lebanese pounds. All right, it doesn't sound like that much. It's only like an additional what did we say it was? 23. So about an additional 12,000. So about 50% increase in price for silver is what they're seeing between then and now. But remember, ladies and gentlemen, the key is this. People have asked me this several times. What am I going to do with my silver if all the systems are down? Well, right now in Lebanon, most of their systems are down. Banking institutions there are pretty much going off of what the government is telling them to go off of. So right now over there, like $1 is still being pegged at about 1,500 Lebanese pounds, which is nothing close than what the black market is offering for $1. So if you go ahead and you divide 35,600 by the going rate of silver right now, which is roughly $23, it comes out to about 1,500. All right, so they are pegging the silver in the government the same way that they are still pegging the dollar at about 1,500. So what you can get for $1 through the government is nothing close. It's about 12 times less or 10 times less than what you can get for $1 in the black market. So if you had silver, you can exchange that silver in the black market for what it's worth in dollars, ladies and gentlemen. So let me go ahead and show you. I think I missed showing you this in this last article here. So here it says a bundle of bread that weighs 850 grams will cost about 5,000 pounds if the dollar remains at 16,000 pounds. Meaning that if $1 can trade for 16,000 pounds. From what I understand right now, $1 in Lebanon is trading for about 18,000 pounds. But we'll use 16,000 pounds for this example, even though it's probably a little bit more than that. So if you take 16,000 pounds, ladies and gentlemen, let's go back to our silver price. If you take 16,000 pounds and you multiply it times the silver price in dollars, let me go ahead and get my calculator out. Here we go. Here's our handy calculator. You take 36,000, you divide it by 1,500, which is what the government is trading $1 for. All right. Now remember, over there you can get $1 American is equal to 16,000 Lebanese, which equals about 24. So the price of silver is roughly $23, $24 today. I haven't even looked at the price of silver before doing this video. So let's say that the price of silver is 24. So now you take that 24 American dollars, all right, and then you take that to the black market. Now the black market, they said, is buying dollars for what? For 16,000. So you multiply 24 times 16,000. That equals 384,000. Now remember, that we said that for 1 month's worth of bread is about 5,000 pounds per day? My camera tipped over, ladies and gentlemen, so I had to redo this over. So we're talking about 5,000 pounds per day that they have to spend on bread, which comes out to roughly 150,000 Lebanese pounds per month. So if we take 384 and we divide it by the 150,000, that's 2.5 months that they have of bread per each ounce of silver. So each ounce of silver can purchase them 2.5 months worth of bread. Whereas if they just use their currency, which would be 36,000, that would get them about a half month of bread. So it goes to prove a couple of points that I've made in the past, that silver and gold are real money. And during times of crisis, especially financial and economic crisis, where your fiat currency note that you use in your country is devalued at a very high rate, or a hyperinflationary rate, that it maintains its purchasing power. And fiat currency by governments are worth almost nothing. Here is a great example where if you use the government's fiat currency in Lebanon, you can get half a month's worth of bread, whereas if you use the black market to barter some of those precious metals that you put away, with only 1 ounce of silver, you can get 5 months of bread for your family. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this is going on right now in Lebanon. Go ahead and look it up. Do your own research. But the same thing applies in Venezuela. In Venezuela, there's a black market just like there is in any other country. And I guarantee you that in Venezuela, the peg to the dollar that the government sets is more than likely a lot less than what the peg to the dollar that the black market sets is. Now let me show you one last thing that I came across to show you that silver does maintain its purchasing power during times of inflation. Now take a look at this. This is a post that says silver support from Lebanon. This stuff has appreciated over 10 times since bought here due to local currency collapse. Lebanon is not the first and will likely not be the last. Keep stacking. So what this person here from Lebanon is saying is that the silver that they purchased, the silver that they stacked, has increased in purchasing power by 10 times when compared to their local currency. So for those of you that are thinking about putting away a little bit of silver just in case, in my opinion, it's a great idea. However, let me go ahead and finish off with this. In Lebanon, had people been prepared and had a year's supply or more of flour put away, of yeast put away, of whatever those ingredients are that they rely on in order to be able to get bread and make it themselves, they would have had it. It would have been better than having silver, in my opinion, because they wouldn't have to go out and trade for it in the black market. They would have had it. Is it smart to have a little bit put away even if you're prepped? Absolutely. But my point is this. Make sure that before you decide to go ahead and preserve some of your wealth in silver or gold, make sure that you are already prepped up. Make sure that you have all of those staples that you need, that you use on an everyday basis, and that you have them in quantity, all right, for at least 6 months or a year or more. And the reason I say at least 6 months, because although in Lebanon they've been going through this crisis here for almost 2 years now, if they'd have had at least a 6-month supply, they'd have been able to stretch that out. Because bread is still available in Lebanon, ladies and gentlemen. It is still available. It is just that the price has gone up exponentially. And it is continuing to go up on a daily basis. So they would have been able to stretch their supplies. Or maybe as they were using their supplies, they could have taken a little bit of that silver and filled in the gaps to make sure that they were topped off at all times. I always say that I agree with people who say you can't eat silver. But I'll tell you what, I bet you a silver dollar that anyone who's living in Lebanon right now would wish that they had some silver put away, because they know that they can trade it for food that will feed their family, especially during these times that they're going through now. So protect yourselves, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure that you pack it to the rafters, stack it to the rafters, put food away, put all of those things that you're going to need in the future away. And then once you have everything that you need, ladies and gentlemen, once you have everything that you feel that you need, then all you have to do is fill in the gaps and rotate what you have. It's not difficult to do. Slow and steady wins the race. And anyone can buy silver. Anyone can. You don't have to buy a full ounce. You can go to your local coin shop and buy a silver dime for a couple of dollars. So even if you go to your local coin shop and buy one silver dime every payday, you know, that's 26 silver dimes a year that you can put up if you get paid every other week. Or if you can buy 2 or maybe even 5 silver dimes, $10 every payday, and put it away, that's over 100 silver dimes. Now imagine what someone in Lebanon who can't get any bread for their family would do for 100 silver dimes, or 100 1/10 ounce pieces of silver. Imagine what they would do. I'm sure that right now they wish that they would have done that, and or at the very minimum been prepped up for any kind of crises that may come our way. When is this going to happen in America, AP? You never know. People in Lebanon didn't really know that it was going to happen. It was very slow, but towards the end it got very quick. I always talk about the S-curve. Right now, in my opinion, this is the S-curve. In my opinion, we're right here. We're at the bottom of the S-curve. And what comes next is a shot straight up before we start to flatten out. You think you've seen inflation? You haven't seen anything yet, ladies and gentlemen. History tells me that this is just the beginning. So get prepared. Do not wait. Having said that, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for joining in today. I hope you're having a great day. Remember to be good to each other. When good people do good things happen. Remember to reach one, teach one, and repeat. If we all did this, the world would be a better place, and you know that it will be a better place. Many blessings to all of you and your families. I'm Alaska Prepper. I'm out. God bless.